Yes, we are live. Good morning, good afternoon, good
Right.
evening, wherever you are. Welcome back to the L1X webinar. We've had some guys do plastic surgery here. Cody's done his plastic surgery. That's Cody's new face right there. He had a name change as well. But welcome to the show, Mark, and
Yeah,
Mike and Leo as usual. But welcome to the show. Firstly, I think
Hey,
let's address the big elephant in the room, Biscuit. Right? Biscuit is the new big elephant. Mark,
the,
I gotta
the,
say,
the
man, guys did well.
yeah, listen, it's the power of community, and like the fact that we've had so many like consecutive buys and so many consecutive days where no one's selling,
yeah,
it just shows like how strong everybody is, and like majority of those people are the L1X community members. They're the first ones that bought in, and I mean, look what's happened. Like 13, 14 days, no sales hardly, and just accumulating more and more tokens. So yeah, hats off to the community. It's amazing.
Yeah,
excellent job, mate.
I think
Excellent.
yeah, $1 million in market cap from $5,000 in 2 weeks, crazy. And what's even more crazy is no sell. I mean, that's
It's
amazing.
on
But
it's
yeah,
unheard of. It doesn't happen.
yeah,
I
it's
tell
it's
you,
not
listen,
enough.
Layer 1X, Biscuit the cat, we're built different. We're built different.
Yeah, and I also noticed that you integrated Telegram with quantum DEX transactions and any
Yeah,
specific pool details, new users joining into your Telegram every day. You got a website as well, amazing website by the way. So what's
Yeah.
next for Biscuit, Mark? Like where are we heading towards from 1 million?
I don't want to talk about market caps, but when I look at the users, right, like we're $1 million market cap, we've got 140 people in Telegram. So
mm,
to me, it's all about just growing community. Because if we can get from 140 to 200 members, 300, 500, imagine where we're going to be when we've got 1,000 people in our Telegram.
mm.
So I mean, without kind of you having bad etiquette and kind of saying we're going to be at like 100 million or blah 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 blah. I mean, just grow community. And if you grow community, great things happen. So yeah,
Yeah,
I can see it. I can see us in the next. I'd say 2 to 4 months, easily being at like 100, easily being around 1,000 members in our Telegram. And do the math if you want to work out market caps, but I won't go into any of that.
no, good. I think that's how we like it here. Great. Yeah. So welcome to the webinar, and I think you can stick on for the whole one. Probably we can talk about Biscuit all day long today. But let's get started with it. We've got quite a bit of things to cover, so let's start with that. Let me share my screen. Okay, is my screen visible? Yeah, I think Mike, you're muted.
I'll try again, mate. Just to throw out to the community that we're not joined by Cody tonight. He's pretty unwell. So I was chatting to him earlier this morning, and yeah, he's not. Yeah, he's getting better, but he's still not well. But
Yeah,
back to you, Kev.
yeah. I think he'll be fine. He's a strong guy. Should be
Oh
okay.
yeah.
Okay, so we already spoke about Biscuit. Once again, Mark, congratulations from the whole L1X community, and I hope it keeps growing. I was one of the first to buy in as well, so I'm pretty happy. Haven't sold anything and probably never selling any of it as well. Okay, moving next, the infrastructure partnership, which we have set up with MohSoft, which is basically an enterprise-grade private blockchain platform. Think of it like a private chain, and an accounting software put together. Businesses that want to go and access liquidity or want to go and access certain kind of information from public chain, but still want to make sure that the company's state or data is secure. That's where this partnership stems out of. And it's not just about infrastructure, I think. So it's all about how we can start positioning xstock as the connector, not only between public chains but also between private and public chains. And this is a pretty first good step towards it, where a lot of institutional capital that try to tokenize real estate, it could be tokenizing securities or bonds, can start using the xstock connector. They're pretty well known. They're pretty big in the tech space. They've already built the product. It's already working. They've got some great partners as well. Now, The best part about it is they've decided to, launch their coin on Quantum DeX, and the date previously was set up at 20th of July, but we have brought it back to 18th of July. They're starting up at 1 cent and $1 million in liquidity. So we hope, that the token does well. But more importantly, I think it's all about the utility over here with these guys, and all those things that we were speaking previously, right? That the private chains can start accessing, the public chains via the stock connector. That's all going to come live, and we also have the date set up, which we will see very shortly in the roadmap. But I remember, Mike, you used to mention a lot about the private chain and this industry. Do you have anything to add on to what I just said?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a very important part. There's a number of areas where the private chains can actually have a big impact, and whether that's particularly with government, but it's also with the corporate sector as well. They might want to utilize the blockchain technology, and when you look at things like encryption of data, databases that have a username and a password today out there in the rest of the world, they're easily cracked. Once you start moving data onto blockchain, you then get down to block level encryption, and if you've then got on a private chain, literally it can't be hacked. And I've said this before many times, is that you can also have a hybrid where transactions can go one way, but more so companies that might want to utilize blockchain and the ability to store that data on chain, and to be able to distribute it around the world. Companies, when they're tokenizing assets, real world assets, utilizing that private chain, that data can be accessed anywhere in the world by any company that's part of that supply chain. That's a game changer, being able to do that. And I know there's a huge push in India for blockchain across a lot of government sectors. We've had a number of huge discussions about that with different groups and even internally.
Yeah, and I'm pretty excited about this because there's a project, that's building up a portfolio based on DCA based strategies of buying into certain tokens at certain point in time and rebalancing that. And I think that portfolio should not be visible publicly, and that's where your state can be linked to a private chain. And the first step that they are doing is they are trying to recognize accounts that are going to be on L1X into the MohSoft ecosystem as well, that can be later on added to identity, creating credentials that you don't want when you don't want to use your private key and whatnot. Okay, great. Moving on, I think one of the things that I wanted to touch upon today, is the release pool, right? And we do see a lot of positive comments around it, but we also see a lot of comments that ask, is it going to take a million years to complete it? Is it going to take 100 years to complete the sales from the release pool? But let's just look at this slide here, right? Let's just break it down, quantitatively, rationally, no emotions, just data, right? You see the blue and the red lines, right? Those represent millions of dreams, right, launched, and millions more that were completely abandoned, right? Everyone launched a token, but then came 22 and 23, where the reality check came in, the bear market. And in 2025, what's happening, right? We are in the death spiral. Old projects are dying, and even the new ones, right? Now, here's the most important part that people are ignoring about the release pool. 90% of tokens that are failing or are trading beyond their listing price today within 6 months, they're not failing by speculation. They're not failing because the system was broken. Projects front load all these rewards, give up everything up front and wonder why they ran out of steam, right? And that's where this flaw comes in. And L1X is not that. It's an infrastructure, right? We don't go and plug and play the release pool everywhere, but it's an infrastructure. L1X is designed to reverse that very flaw. And you want proof? I think, look at the numbers. There are millions of transactions that are done, including cross-chain. There is a DEX that has been launched. There's Mark right here in front of you has launched his coin 2 weeks ago that reached $1 million market cap. But more importantly, it's the validation that the protocol is building over the last 6 to 7 months that you can clearly see. People are cashing in, right? The release pool people are cashing in. It could be slowly, but it's sustainable, right? And most importantly, I think it's fair, right? The more volume we grow, the more users and projects integrate, the more the release pool will pay out. it's performance aligned. It's not price aligned, right? And it's not built on a hype cycle. It's built around a sustainable cycle, right? And again, I see a lot of people working extremely hard. In the protocol, I see a lot of builders. We are consistently speaking to projects and builders. There is a very strong community, but I just want to make a statement today about the release pool, and later on we'll look at the numbers as well. And probably this will be the only time I'll speak about it. I think to the 1% people, 1 or 2% people, not that I care, but those people who are spreading negativity on X or Discord, let me be very clear, right? There's a line between criticism and corrosiveness, right? You're not weakening the community. I think the community is much more stronger than that, but we are watching. And when negativity becomes illogical, when you make it ego driven or disruptive, right, we will act. And most importantly, I will act. Maybe not to silence you, but I will defend the builders and the community whenever time requires. Of course, we won't let any noise draw out our progress or the success we are making. The community deserves better. So I will protect it in any situation. It could be legally, socially, or any other measures that the community needs to take. And more importantly, L1X isn't rushing to impress traders, right? We are engineering this to reward our believers. And this is the structural advantage that we have, right? And more importantly, if you go and see Near Protocol, for example, look at their DEX. They've got hardly 20 tokens trading in there. We just launched and we are going to have 8 tokens this month on the DEX. That is proof that it works. There are people cashing out from release pool that it works, right? And I think more importantly, the community is pretty strong, right? In January, we saw that the community could stand. Even today, the community will stand, and they don't even need to defend themselves because the progress that we are making is enough to show that this thing is on track to complete the sales from the release pool as time progresses. I think it was pretty important to bring this up because, this context, as I mentioned over here on this slide, underscores why a different approach, right? Like L1X is so compelling because we have to, improve the odds of long-term success by design, right? We, previously and now that structural change had to come, and we are not going to sabotage ourselves by tokenomics, right? And as I always mentioned from day one of building Layer 1X, this is a long-term goal, right? This is not for tourists. This is for people who actually want citizenship in the protocol, the people who believe in it. Yeah, I think that's all I would say from the release pool perspective, but we will look at certain numbers, right? Just so that, it's not building castles in the air. Let's take an example, right? Let's take an example of a 2023 investment versus your 2025 investment and the returns that you would get over a period of time. Now, the first one over here, right? You've got 5 years, right? Let's say you came in 2023 and, in 2028, it's 5 years. It took 5 years as a total for you to complete your sales in the release pool. That's still 900% ROI and 46.8% average annual return. You compare that to the fact that you came in the pre-sale in January at 1 cent, at $1. The worst case scenario for us is $1, right? Previously, the best case scenario was $1. Right now, selling the coin at $1 is the worst case scenario. You're still making 9900% ROI. That's 216.2% average annual return. Now, what is a better scenario? Let's move into that. Let's say, the coin is trading at $20 currently. You see that it's trading at $20. 6 years down the line, right? Let's say you take 6 years down the line for your 2023 investment. You're still making 19,900% ROI, right? That's 113.2% average annual return in 6 years. 6 years is not a very long-term investment goal. There are family offices building wealth over 10 plus years that they don't allow you to, cash out until that timeline. But if you came in 2000 and let's say in January 2025 at 1 cent, and you sell the coin over a period of time, let's say even 5 years, it takes you to sell the coin. That's still almost 200,000% ROI with 357% average annual return. And the release pool will release the coin over a period of time based on all the performances that has been compounding and accumulating. It's not a magic wand, right? But it's a wand that's going to help you direct how the protocol is going to grow, not sabotaging itself over tokenomics. Since 2020, there is no altcoin that has given you more than 5,000 to 6,000% ROI, right? This is the only coin or the only altcoin that I can assure you that you have, that you are a part of, which can even consider giving you 100,000% ROI over the next 5 to 6 years. If there is any other token that does something like this, please let me know. I would be more than willing to invest in that as well. Yeah, I think that's all I had to say from the release pool concept. Mike or Leo, anything you'd like to add? You're not audible. Yeah.
Can't hear you, Leo.
You can hear the typing sounds.
No. While we wait for Leo, yeah, for me, I look at it and go, the release pool is a great idea. It creates a lot of stability. And if I'm honest, it actually lets, rather than focusing just on price action, what we're doing is focusing on the capability. L1X is a utility coin. We're built to be able to enable transactions. It's not just here as a tradable item. If you look at Bitcoin as a negative asset, its pure purpose is for trading, for buying and selling, and as effectively a store of wealth. When you look at L1X, we're a utility. We're designed to actually transact. That's the whole concept behind it. And when you've got something that's actually a blockchain that's able to do those things, what we're doing is creating value in there, and that takes time to build up. We acknowledge that, but I think it's a pretty solid thing for the future that we keep going. We're still going, 3+ almost 4 years later, I think, and I think it's good that we've got that capability in there, and it produces a lot of trust out there. As we add more and more projects on, people will start seeing the worth of it, and it'll keep growing. And Leo, I don't know if your volume's back yet.
No, I think we can't hear him.
No.
All good. Maybe we can reconnect. All good. Let's keep going. Mark, do you have anything to add? I think I was speaking to you about the release pool a little while ago.
Yeah, I mean, for me, like the stability, the release pool is like 100% essential because it's the stability of the pairs for all the projects that are launching on Quantum DEX. Like, imagine having a meme coin paired to a meme coin. You'd never get any traction because the volatility would be so much. You'd wake up or go to sleep and you could be at boom or bust. Like having L1X at the minute is ranging between $19, $20, $21, $22, and that's kind of perfect because you've got this range where the market cap's going to be pretty stable, and it could shoot up, but it's likely going to stay where it's never really going to go too far, too much lower, because the release pool's preventing that from happening because it's doing sells into volume. So as managing Biscuit and all the other projects that are on the Quantum DEX that come in, you couldn't be coming into Quantum DEX if L1X was going from like $20 to $10 to $5 back up to $20 because people would be scared away by it. So like this mechanism, what we've got, this release pool, it's 100% essential for the growth of L1X because the growth of L1X comes from the community, the ecosystem. And if the price of L1X is so volatile, there wouldn't be an ecosystem because projects wouldn't want to come over and build on Quantum DEX. So they all go hand in hand. And look what's happening with Biscuit. It's testament of the release pool that's stabilizing the L1X price, that's allowing us to do these amazing things.
Yeah, I agree. And I think, there are certain coins that, before 2020 that must have done, extensively well. And after 2020, there would be, but that also means you got in, at the lowest and you sold at the highest. And until Santa Claus himself came and gave you a tip, that's pretty hard to do. I mean, in my opinion, at least. Okay, I think moving on. Let's talk about the Quantum DEX token launch strategy. And I think this is pretty important for us because to grow the DEX apart from the listing, to bring in more volume, to bring in more holders, to bring in more activity around, liquidity provisioning. um, L1X coin, has its own limitations in terms of how much we want to push it to reward people in order to do that, right? So both of the coins, L1X and USD, are going to work hand in hand to make sure that the protocol and the DEX, are at the maximum efficient level that they can be. I went through this previously, but just quickly to go through it, there are three types of tokens. You've got the QET, which is basically the reward token, and it also allows you to go in and claim QST if um, you have earned it over a period of time. Then, of course, you've got the main token, which is the value and trading token, the QST, which allows you to go in and trade, of course, but also at the same time, it allows you to go and stake the QST to get GQST, which is the governance token. Now, the governance token also acts as a revenue token. So all the revenue, the interface fee that you see that you are currently paying on the DEX will be going towards the GQST holders. And the goal over here is to make sure that the longer you stake your QST, the more weighted or proportional number you get for GQST as well. The other benefit of having GQST is that all these pools that are currently listing, they're pretty flat in terms of the volume or the trade that uses. It depends on the community. It depends on their product as to how many users can come in. But to bootstrap certain kind of activity around a certain pool, the pool could go in and bribe the GQST holders with their own project token, or it could be any stable coin to go and get voted for. And the reason they would want to go and get voted for is if a user goes and trades in a pool that has been voted for, they will get a multiplier number on the QAT tokens, creating this whole virtuous cycle of buying in and selling of the coin, increasing the trading as well. So the emission model is definitely an important one that that has to be pegged towards the overall activity or volume on the DEX. And the three token structure allows us to make sure that we don't give away too many QST coins that are the trading coins. But at the same time, the QET tokens can be redeemed for QST once you go ahead and perform certain activities on the DEX. Moving on. So we are going to do a small cap raise for the QST. And the idea over here is that majority of the raise that we're going to do, we're going to push it back towards the liquidity for QST, right? So think of it as a liquidity bootstrapping raise. And of course, we've kept the tokenomics a little lenient on QST because it's not an infrastructure, right? Layer 1x is an infrastructure. QST is not an infrastructure. And in our opinion, the sell pressure that could come of keeping a loose-ended tokenomics, I wouldn't say completely loose, but controllable tokenomics can be managed. So at the first, we've got the L1X holders airdrop. There is a specific change in here. So the specific change in here is anyone holding L1X coins from 1st of September onwards until 9 months, right? This could be the coins in your release pool. This will be the L1X native coins. This will be the L1X ETH coin and WL1X. Every day, there's going to be a snapshot in terms of your weightage to how many coins you hold. So if there are 1 million coins and you hold 100,000 coins, you get 10% weightage on that specific day. So this is also to make sure that people don't sell out L1X. People keep and hold their L1X coins as much as they can. So the 5% airdrop will be given post the cliff, meaning on the 9th month onwards from 1st of September this year, every day the snapshot will be taken. And the more L1X you will hold, the more opportunity you will have to go in and get the QST, which is going to be a part of the airdrop. We also have the QET participants based on performance. So when I say based on performance, what I mean over here is any person who comes in and trades on the DEX is eligible for a QET coin, but it is also somehow correlated to the fees that is collected from the user. Of course, if there is a boosted pool, then the QAT earned versus the fee ratio could be different. But the whole idea over here is to make it more sustainable. And if the 40 million coins in 10 years are not already consumed by giving it out, the coins will be carry forward every specific month so that we can use those coins to boost rewards as and when they require. In terms of the community and marketing growth, we know the performance airdrop, the initial token sale. So we have kept 8% aside for early token investors if they want to come in. And the idea over here is there will be no cliff, right? But there is a 5% TGE based allocation that will be given to you, and then there is an 8-month vesting. So if you come in with, let's say, and you get 100 coins on the first day, 1st of September, when we list the coin on the DEX, you will get 5 coins, and then the remaining 95 will be distributed linearly over a period of 8 months. So the sale is going live at 25 cents. The listing price is $1. The sale itself is at a very low valuation. It's at $2 million. And even when it lists, it will be close to $8 million market cap. It's pretty low, right? The FDV is at around $25 million because QST are only 100 million coins in there as well. Coming down to teams and advisors, we make sure that we have the maximum cliff available there so that they cannot sell. And with regards to the treasury and the DEX liquidity, we are starting with $500,000 worth of QST coins just to make sure that enough trading is possible along with the L1X coin in the pool as well. So again, anyone taking a short-term view on the coin for QST, I don't think this product is for you. If you've got a long-term view on the quantum DEX and you believe in the strategies that we are implementing, this could be something that you could be interested in. But this is not for tourists. If you have a long-term view on QST coin, that is the only time I completely, fairly and transparently would like to mention that you should come in. If that's not the case, maybe this is not the product. Okay, I think moving on. One of the most important part of quantum DEX, of course, apart from the features that we have, which allows you to go cross-chain, the moment you list, it allows you to take a loan of up to $2 million and launch your liquidity pool, and also it allows you access to multiple other features onto the protocol as well. Now, I think what is very important for us is the scalability component, because at this particular stage, it is gated to prevent scammy projects, to prevent projects from rug pulling their users out. And for that specific scalability where projects can come, they can apply for a loan and they can self check out through the whole process, which has again never been done in Web3 before. If there is a product, I would love to know, but I have not come across a product that allows you to self check out and list getting a loan and going cross chain at the same time. So we want to make sure that we build a pretty solid self loan checkout process that projects can come in and register for themselves. Once their loan offer is generated, they can go in, accept and proceed with that offer. If not, they can reject the offer. But once the loan offer is generated for them, this is all done on the smart contracts, right? There's a cobweb of smart contracts working to make sure this thing flourishes. They accept it. The next one is, if they have a token on L1X, great. They can go in and put in their token address. If they don't, they can go in and mint their coin. It'll take them less than 60 seconds. Once the tokens are minted, once they are ready with that token, they can go in next and deposit a collateral. So the collateral, again, is in that specific project token. And the beauty about this is, at any point in time, they cannot rug pull the liquidity that is given to them. The smart contracts will not allow them to do it. So if they start with 100 L1X and 100 of their coins, the smart contract will not allow them to go below 5% of what was initially provided to them, which is below 95, right? So once they deposit their collateral, it could be on Ethereum, it could be on Binance, it could be on Solana, and we understand that it's been received, they can set the token price. So this is where they set the launch price of their coin, and it's all done seamlessly. This is all, this is all the features that you see over here, they've already been done before by the projects that were listed by us, and we wanted to make it as simple as possible for them to self-check out and list on the DEX. They can set the initial price in here, and then once they are ready, that is when we will go in and create the pool and deploy their token out as well, where they deposit their project token. And once the project token is deposited, the Xtalk infrastructure already understands that, and they will go in and deposit their wrapped L1X as well. This was a pretty comprehensive concept that took me 10 days to even explain to our own team members how this would work, right? Because our goal was to make sure that from start to end, there is no manual intervention, or the manual intervention keeps reducing as time progresses and more projects list on us. There will be a dashboard for the projects where they'll be able to go in and see the loan they have borrowed, the repayment that has been made, and all the loan amount. Interestingly, all the loan amount that is given to them will be coming out of the release pool. So all the tokens that are paid back to us, those tokens will be given back to the release pool holders at every point in time, right? So this is one way where we want to make sure that the release pool coins also keep selling over a period of time. Yep. Any thoughts, Mike, Crypto, Psycho, or Cleo?
I think it's actually pretty important that we, as you pointed out, Kevin, that the anything coming back from those loans actually goes back into the release pool. I think that's pretty important to take note of. The whole idea here is that we're looking to grow the coin and increase the investor, the confidence in what we're doing and what we're building. We are building it for the future. We're building it to be the future of decentralization, and to get it out there. This is one way of doing it. It's also a very good way of projects getting that liquidity, pooling that together and bringing all those projects across. It just makes such a difference, and just increases the success, the percentage of success rates of projects. We can push it up there into the 80-90% success. Then we're, how much better than all the other chains out there are we?
Yeah, it was
fantastic.
It was fantastic for us. I mean, even though we only started off with like a small amount of LP, regardless, it's like we don't need to find that upfront cost. So just launching Biscuit with like 2,000 wrapped L1X, $2,000 wrapped L1X, but we didn't need to find that. So for us, it was perfect. And like the setup, like when everything went through and everything launched, it was really seamless, really straightforward. Probably annoying Kevin a little bit because I have no idea how to do any of this, but Kevin walked me through it. I mean, I'm not good at all the technical stuff. Like being the face of a meme coin, that's perfect for me. I'll let all the technical stuff be done in the back end.
We learned you, Mark. We learned you.
Yeah.
Hey, wait to see what's coming next, eh?
Yeah.
And I think it was interesting because when we went through the whole process with the current projects that listed with us, and we're explaining to them about these things, and there are projects that are listed on other layer ones, built on other layer ones, but listing with us, right? that's crazy, right? And I was speaking to a project, it's an infrastructure project today, and I won't give out the name, but one of the app that they had was a pretty popular app that got hundreds of thousands of users, and their token has tanked more than 70%. I think when I looked at the DEX that they had, I couldn't believe my eyes. Like it was a piece of joke, right? They had 5 tokens in there for the last 1.5 years. It's all a mess, and I think very rarely you get to see that one step every year where somebody comes in, builds a DEX, and takes it a level up, like how we saw with Hyperliquid, for example. And with more projects coming in, and this self-service based loan model getting adaptable to projects, I think that's the scale that we are looking for, right? Where you could go in and make a minimum of $25,000 worth of loan that you should have, and as you keep scaling, you can get a little bit more stricter around it as well, where your token should have been living for the last few years, or it could be few months, X, Y, and Z. But this is all again, giving the power back to the GQST holders as to how they want to drive it forward as well. Coming to the next one, we did release the Xtalk version 1.2. So we are working with certain developers who also happen to be on our Discord and testing the beta out. So first feature is you got greater transparency. And what it means over here is if there were certain projects that were a little concerned as to is this centralized solution, like are you doing it on a single computer back in the office? But I think when they saw this specific feature where you could tap into each and every Xtalk transaction, see the nodes that were validating it, the time that it took, the block that it went into, all these things were a proof to them that this is in fact decentralized. It does work, uh, and they could tap into the transaction receipt as and when they wanted as well. The second one was that went out was L1X EVM compatibility. So until now we had L1X VM, which was compatible with the swap, but now you also have L1X EVM compatibility. For example, there is a project that's building a predictions market. Now, I mean, sky's the limit for thinking here, but it could be okay. Is X coin going to go up Y% in the next 24 hours, and then you could bet over there. But not only that, betting with, let's say, quantum DeX based tokens, or having a prediction in terms of certain policies are going to come out or not. It could be so many different things that could happen, and L1X EVM helps out with that as well. If there was a connection required to the quantum DeX, and if you wanted to do something around the pools in terms of prediction or maybe NFTs. And we are launching, so the first two are already out. The last one is developer ready integration, like a boilerplate code. So it'll take you like one GitHub command. You can go in there, you can download the whole piece of code that will be working for you. So it will come to an extent where you just download the code and you'll be able to see that you can go and try to go and do an Xtalk transaction straight out of the box, right? Of course, you'll have to go and customize it as per how you want it, but the boilerplate code will come ready for you to go and make your first transaction on Xtalk as well. That's one of the requests we received from the developers we were working with. So that's going out as well. Okay, coming to the roadmap, what's ahead of us. We did have the release pool version 1.1 deployment out, but again, as I said, this is a long-term thing. Don't think a few months down the line. I would say give it another couple of years to really get that value back from it. And we could be even surprised. It could happen earlier as well. But I think that expectation setting has to be there. Like this is not an everyday treasure box that you put your hand and you remove out money out of it. But this is a long-term thing. And the same with the team, right? As well. On 15th of July, we also released a feature where projects on quantum DeX can integrate with the release pool algorithm. So, any project that's coming up that wants to integrate the release pool algo, they can start utilizing it as well. We released the version 1.2 beta for Xtalk. And, as I mentioned, there's a boilerplate code coming out as well very soon. On 18th, we have MohSoft listing on the quantum DeX. And I'm pretty excited for this one because the utility of it is crazy in terms of even the current projects that are building with us, and what we can offer to them. There is a token called Text Summarizer Extension listing on Quantum DeX, and another one called DNews. So basically, the Text Summarizer Extension is an AI-based Chrome extension that you go to any website, you go to any let's say a news article, it can go to a Twitter, and just click on that specific button. It will just analyze and based on your level of understanding, explain it to you, what that, maybe the product does, what the website does, right? So you could be on another website altogether, a new, let's say, Web3 app, and you don't know what it does. So you can use that, and it's going to explain the content around the website to you. And I think that's pretty powerful. So you don't have to pay subscription money to ChatGPT. If you, copy paste the whole thing there, you could do it by a click. The other one is decentralized news, CMS. So it's like Medium, but it's decentralized, where the ideation around the product is, is it a verifiable article? Does the writer actually know what he's talking about? Or is it just a spammy article? And the more verification the writer gets, the more identification on his NFT he will start receiving. And, of course, they will have their own token around it as well. But this month, 3 more tokens are going out. and we are speaking to a few more projects to list as well. On 24th of July, we have worked out the node rewards distribution that we needed to upgrade and make sure that our node reward holders get rewarded for the work that they are doing and they're running the nodes. So 24th of July, we'll release a blog and we'll give you the updated numbers as well that you will start receiving from the end of this month onwards. So that's going to at least cover up some of your cost or maybe help you break even as well. On 25th is when the first version of the self-service checkout loan model is going to go live, and that is where we're very excited because the next three projects or the next two projects that we are going to do, it could be the text summarizer and the DNews. They're going to use that platform and they're going to go and create pools and list out as well. So very excited for that. Maybe as a user, you may not be able to see the self-checkout process, but we are going to create like a workable, or a clickable model so that you can see, how it works as well. On 30th of July, we've got the AI loan analyzer that's going to be integrated with BSC and L1X network as well. And we are also working on the fact that, right now, if you want to buy a project token on Quantum DEX, you've got to swap in from Ethereum, BSC into WL1X. You should be able to swap it directly into that token as well. So we are working on that specific feature. 10th of August, we are opening up Xtalk. We did the upgrade finally, and I think we're pretty happy now that this upgrade is good and ready to go. Task1 has gotten a little bit delayed. The developers are currently working on it. We are constantly in touch with them. So Task1 integration will come in, and I think it's great because then all the projects listing on the DEX will start to leverage the community from Task1 as well, straight away from there. On 30th of August, we've got the community voting system for pool launches. Now, what I mean by this is, of course, initially the GQST holders, have to be present to be able to do this. But initially, with anyone with certain amount of L1X will be able to go in there and vote for your projects. So all the projects that are going to be in queue and the order that you want to see them in, the voting will begin for such kind of activities where then the community decides what project gets the liquidity or which project lists when or in what order. And I think with the increasing pipeline that we have with the projects wanting to come on board, and with the self-checkout service, offloading that work to the community, I think is the best move possible. Right. 1st of September, we have QST that is going to list on Quantum DEX. So, probably like 5-6 weeks maximum, QST will be listed on Quantum DEX. We'll close the raise by then, and the listing will start. And on 3rd of September is when MohSoft and L1X first integration will be demonstrated. What does the Xtalk connector, L1X public chain, and the MohSoft private chain, look like in terms of its workability? There are two more news. So the first one is we are currently working with CoinGecko, CoinMarketCap, DEX Screener, DEX Tool, and Gecko Terminal to list Quantum DEX in there by integrating Layer 1X infrastructure. And one more good news is we are actually upgrading the L1X scan to have the same experience like you have with ETH scan, BSC scan. It's going to look and feel the same. You'll be able to use it on the phone. You'll be able to use it and see contracts. You'll be able to see token holders. And with the integration coming up with CMC, CoinGecko, all these other coin screening and listing platform, I think coin listing with us like Biscuit could have been noticed on DEX Terminal or DEX Tools today, with the new market cap that it reached. So we are working on that. And I think by the end of next month, we should be in a very comfortable position with the scanner and with at least a couple of DEX tool integration happening as well. So a pretty jam-packed timeline out here. But again, the node rewards that have been updated, there is going to be a block coming up next week. So all the node holders, I appreciate, the effort and you hosting the nodes. So we have looked into that. We have updated it. Please wait until the next block comes up. Okay, I think that's all from my side.
I'm super excited there then, like with the DEX tools, DEX screener, like getting them integrations. That's just that's music to my ears because that's all I get asked in my ears. Like when I said, listen, we let before anyone bought in, I did a video saying like the reasons why we're early. So that the fact that that's going to be coming soon, that's a big help, because that's like the go-to standard, isn't it, for people to check tokens?
Yeah. I'm going to
Absolutely.
work like a
Yeah.
superhuman, on one computer I'm doing this, and the other one I'm doing that. And I think the moment that happens, I'll be very happy, because I've been on and off with these guys consistently.
All right. So over to a little bit of an update on the market. So Bitcoin, as we've seen, has recently crossed over the 120,000 mark. I think it pulled back today to about 118. And it's interesting because that hasn't been driven by excessive volatility, but rather more so around what appears to be a healthy, sustained uptrend, and that's good. It's showing organic growth and a spike in volatility, and I think we're seeing that also if we look at L1X as well. Now, it could be one of the first signals of a short-term shift in that. A more conservative view of the market was disrupted by significant inflows from both ETFs and the spot market. According to all the information that we're seeing out there, that institutional investors and large traders are doing most of the buying, and that produces a lot of confidence in the midterm trend. I think, as you can see on the chart there, that we could see Bitcoin reaching around 135,000 in the next few weeks. I think that's a distinct possibility. I do remember saying back a couple of months ago that we could hit 150, and I think that's well and truly within reach for the end of the year. And just the continuous inflows, I think, is also likely to support Bitcoin establish itself above the 125,000 mark in the near term. And just moving on to the next chart, Kevin, which is the L1X chart. Now, what I've done here is I've tried to show the chart just as a nice simple line graph in white, and you start seeing the 20-day moving average across there, and where we touch the line back around July the 5th or 6th, pulling back to that, and then going back up again. It's producing quite a nice pattern in the chart there. It's starting to look more like what we term as a wedge, and that's a good indicator. Now, it's pretty neutral in the trend right at the very moment. The price, when I last checked, was around $21 odd. I think it's still around that. And like I said, still continue to move a little bit more neutral. We do see a lot more active trading as the price drops a little bit down towards the $20 level. That's quite noticeable. And we look like we're going to see an increase in volume coming from all these extra projects that are coming on. It makes a big difference. You start seeing the likes of the transactions through Biscuit. And Mark, I know you're pleased with that. And as we start seeing more of all these projects coming on, we'll start seeing more and more of that organic volume coming through. And that's so we're starting to see some good things happening. To me, as we have those projects on, I'm going to say this a few times. We will see that increase. What we want is, rather than focusing on the price, focus on the volume that's being traded, the projects that are coming on, because that increases it. That's probably the key that everybody needs to look at, is encouraging those projects. And if you see a project out there, let us know about it. If you think it's pretty special, I've had a few people reach out to me. I had a meeting this afternoon as a referral from somebody in our community. He knows who he is. Thanks, Jake. And more like that, the better.
Yeah. Thanks for that, Mike. I think Leo has a few updates as well.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, perfect. Sorry for the it was a technical issue. I've got a few updates. So we have resolved the issues with unstaking and unstaking of L1X, basically from nodes and single staking. So it was more, due to the network fee issue. So if the network was busy, you were not able to pay the sufficient gas just to unstake your transaction. So that has been resolved. We have given it a custom permission. And the other one is the DeX users. There was a glitch in the UI where they were not able to see the fees. So that has been resolved. Basically, any liquidity provider, they can go and claim their fees that they have accumulated from the transactions, right? The other one is with the release pool. Many users are sending in the request. Of course, it takes 24 hours. I think Grandma has asked a question, why does it take 24 hours? It takes 24 hours because it is accumulated from different sources, and there are no direct APIs to get access to that data as well. right? And if you see like it's a manual transfer, well, if you just go and see the transaction hash, it is it is I would say initiated like once in a day, and you should be able to see a batch transfer. So there is no room for any errors over there, because it's just the same signed transactions that you have requested for, and we just we just complete the transactions. That's all. So yeah, that's all from mine. Thank you.
Yeah, and I think grandma to grandma's question over here. Also, the other angle to that is, we have to be careful, because what if there is some kind of let's say a hack that happens, and someone takes over the release pool and removes the liquidity out. What happens in that case? So there is always a waiting period, a check, a cool off period, and even if you look at when you unstake from the node, there is always a cool off period to that as well. So whenever staking, unstaking, claiming, comes through, a cool-off period is always a good security measure, not only for the release pool, but it could be for any other, transactional activity as well. So we have just followed the norms in there and made sure that in 24 hours, you get, paid as well. And I'm happy to see that, quite a lot of users have started claiming, from the release pool.
Yeah. Sorry, Kevin, I'll add more to that. And we do the batch transfers just because, we don't want you to pay the gas fees as well. Like, for example, if we keep it on Ethereum, and, during certain times of the day, it's just going to take like more than $12-15 just to, claim your coins from the contract. So that is one of the reasons we just decided to do a batch transfer. Yeah.
Yeah, I think before I go for the closing statements, maybe any one of you, maybe Mark, you want to go first? I think you're muted.
Yeah, no, just big like shout out to L1X for getting Quantum DEX to where it's at, and then to the community, whether it be the L1X holders or like friends of friends that have come in, because like what we've achieved is like nothing short of like amazing. I actually think if you look on any chain, on any token, whether it be a meme coin or a utility coin, I don't think there's been so much buy pressure for such a consecutive period without any sells. So like what we've accomplished is amazing. But as I've said before, it's like the circumstances Biscuit finds itself in is unique, because there's so many factors that make it what it is, that make people not want to sell. It can't be replicated. So like what people are buying into now, they realize like this is like a once in a lifetime opportunity. You're not going to get another multi-chain DEX. You're not going to get another founder's cats being supported by the founder, and you're not going to get the mentality of L1X holders, because we've been holding for 3 years already. I mean, it's like we're like on par with XRP holders. We know what suffering's like. We hold on for dear life. So the fact that we've got these amazing holders now, just think what it's going to be like when we get 200 members, when we get to 300, 500. I'm blown away. It's going to be a really good journey.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think Mike, you're muted.
I was just saying that's how, Mark. That they're good numbers to look at when you. I remember when way back when we were looking at bringing on new members, and we're talking in the the hundreds, and now it's in the thousands and tens of thousands. So that's when it starts making a big difference. You'll start seeing that. Yeah, it's a pretty amazing feeling. Yeah.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah, and I think just to just reiterate back to Grandma's question, how would there be any proof when you claim? There is already a proof. There's a claim event that happens. There's a claim transaction that happens, and that's how we know that you have gone in and asked for it. We have that proof that you have asked for a claim. Yeah, Leo, if you want to go ahead.
Yeah, like you can see all your transactions in your portfolio as well. I don't know if you have actually visited that. You can actually, go and check it. And if you have more questions, just get in touch with our Discord mods as well. They're happy to help you.
Great. Yeah, Leo, any closing statement, or you want me to go?
Oh yeah, I'm just excited on the Explorer as well, because a lot of devs, they want to build it up, but they said like if we have a full-fledged Explorer, we should be able to show it to our community as well, because they are used with the same interface. So that's something I'm excited with. The loan model that's going out, a lot of projects are going to come in. They're going to drive in users. Their valuation is going to increase. And again, it's linked to the release pool. So our community members, basically, they're going to be benefited. And the voting module, that is going to take a lot of stress out of us. And, the community is going to decide what they want, what projects they want. If, Mark, you want to, pick up any other coin, the community is all yours. You're going to bribe them, and they're just going to pump it up again.
What? Listen, one's enough. One's enough. Listen, my wife's away for 6 weeks. If she was here now, I'd be divorced. I'd be living in here.
Yeah, I think that's great, and I think importantly, for my closing statement, with the projects that are getting listed, you see that there are new users coming in, right? And with new users coming in, there is more traction to the utility that we produce, right? It's like getting more people registered on your voter base so that you can offer them more services. You can link them to the taxation system, right? And that is what happens when, I've been to the Biscuit community, and I see some great, suggestions there, some great comments over there. And we are always open to constructive suggestions, right? And I think with regards to going forward, 99% of our community is rock solid in terms of the things that they know that we are doing to be where we are, and the things that we don't even know that we will be doing to where we want to be. So that trust validation is 100% there. And of course, we know that to get the release pool completely empty in the next couple of years at $20 and above, L1X team itself cannot do it, right? We need the support and contribution from the community. We need you to go out there, actually, talk what it is currently doing, the features that we're coming up with, the utility that you already see. If you just talk about that in case will help us bring on more users. It will help us bring in more utility to the platform. And I think that's what a logical person who is invested in a protocol or a project would do, right? If you rationally analyze what's happening. So that's where I stand. And again, I think we've got an amazing community that stood the test of time, and I don't think anything is going to be able to shake the foundations or fundamentals of L1X. Nothing at all. So good job. Maybe just go in there, maybe just put a like, maybe comment about your favorite utility for L1X app that you're using currently, maybe your favorite coin on the DEX, right? Something that will help spread the word out and talk about.
Biscuit.
How did we know you were going to say that? Yeah.
No, of course. I mean, Biscuit is always there. Yeah.
The purpose of this is to look after Kevin's cat. It looks a bit, I don't know if he's being looked after or not, but we're going to take care of him. We're gonna take care of that little cat, Kevin. Don't worry.
Nice, he's being looked after. I brought him a nice cake, when you did the token launch, so he's being looked after very well. But I think amazing work, and the team is grinding day in and day out. We're not missing any second on the clock, that we are not dedicated towards making this happen. And I want to make it happen more than anyone else in the community, right? That's 100%. But Mark, thanks for joining in, and we hope to see you back again, someday. But good job with this community.
Yeah, when we get to 1,000 members, then I'll be back at 1,000 members. That'll be good.
Yeah,
that'll be interesting.
Hold you to it.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay.
Pleasure being here. Thank you.
Thank you.
No worries.
Bye.
Thanks, man. Thanks, Kev. Leah.